to do so. So recording has started, and we're going to go ahead and get started now. Welcome to LinkedIn 101. My name is Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. Very excited that you've chosen to spend some time with me here today, and looking forward to sharing some insights with you. And I've designed this session specifically for individuals that maybe aren't on LinkedIn yet, or you haven't even started an account yet, or maybe you have an account but you're really not sure what to do next. And a lot of the webinars and sessions that you may be attending are more advanced, so they're focused on next level up or a profile optimization. You're like, a profile what? And I really want to take it down to a base level. So before I do get started, I always like to do a quick audio and video check. Can you message me in chat and just say, yes, I can see and hear you? And while you're doing that, I'm going to get a sip of my morning coffee. Ava is saying, okay. Anna is saying yes. M. Phillips is saying, yes, I can see and hear you. All right, that's my cue that we are good to go, and we'll continue to go throughout. Everyone will be muted for the duration of the webinar. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask those at any point in time. Just message me in chat, and we should have time about the last 5 to 10 minutes of today's webinar. I'll have some opportunity for you to ask questions as well. All right, so let's get started with LinkedIn 101. And I'd like to, at this point, give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. I'm a big believer that when you go into a live webinar, if you have the ability to introduce yourself in chat, I always do so. And what I like to do, guys, here's my little cheat for you, if you will. I wait until about 5 or 10 minutes into the webinar, because you always have those folks that are a few minutes late getting in, and if you chat right away with your introduction, the people that came in after you miss that opportunity. So I'm kind of curious, why are you using LinkedIn, or why are you considering joining LinkedIn? What are the purposes for that? So tell me, is it job search, business development, networking, personal, some other reason? And I would love it if you could include your LinkedIn URL. Now, let me show you how I do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to step out of Zoom here just for a second, and I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn in another window in the background here. And what I'm going to show you here is this is the technique that I use when I'm in a Zoom session to make my LinkedIn URL clickable. Now, what I do, I'm a lazy marketer, guys. I want to try to do this the easiest way possible. So I'm going to navigate to my LinkedIn profile if I have one. And I want to show you this. If I grab just the address with the www, and if I throw that in chat, then it's not clickable, okay? However, if I grab the whole address bar with the HTTPS on it, and what I do is I just go into the address bar line, I click 3 times on my left click of my mouse, so 1, 2, 3, okay, and that grabs the whole line. Then I do Control-C for copy. And then when I go into the chat, I just hit Control-V for paste, okay? That way I'm not having to type everything in and key it in really fast. And the bonus part about this is when I grab it with the HTTPS, it makes it clickable. So now if you wanted to, from chat, you could click on that LinkedIn URL and you can go out onto LinkedIn and you can start to invite people to connect. So I'm sharing this tip for those of you who are already on LinkedIn, or who may be thinking about joining LinkedIn, and then how do you use LinkedIn and how do you grow your network? This is a great kind of starting tip for you. But I am kind of curious, how are you guys using LinkedIn? So I'm going to pull my screen back up to large view. So how are you using LinkedIn? Let's see what you said in chat here. Has anyone messaged yet? I'm curious, anybody, if you could reply back, how are you using LinkedIn? Are you using it for job search, for business development, for networking, just for work? For personal reasons, for some other reason? So I see so far 2 responses coming in. Dana is saying job search, M. Phillips is saying work and networking. And I'm sure there's a variety of reasons that those of you are joining. And you might be joining just for work right now, but maybe using LinkedIn for job search in the future. Totally fine. And if I see your LinkedIn URL, I'm assuming you're already on the platform and you're really just maybe here to learn some additional basics to help you to get started. We have Kimberly. Great introduction for yourself there. Ava is using it for job, for consulting, for network, and for social purposes. So all great reasons. So my name is Brenda Meller. My company is Meller Marketing, and what I do is I specialize in helping people unlock the power of LinkedIn. Up until about 3 years ago, I was a corporate employee and was really throughout my career working in a variety of different marketing roles, supporting business development, brand building. I was part of a company's leadership team, so I was using it as a leadership representative. And I also used LinkedIn to find a job once upon a time. I've used it as a hiring manager to source candidates and also to locate vendors and other connections as well. So I've used it really broadly, and I just developed a knack for social media. About 10 years ago, actually, I think it was back in 2006 was when I got on LinkedIn. And a little over 10 years ago, I started a new job where I had to build out the social media community and really understand and learn how to use social media effectively. And I had a knack for teaching it to others. So I leaned into it, did some blogging and did some public speaking on the side. And fast forward to today, this is what I do full time. I do not work for LinkedIn or Microsoft. I work for you. I work for my clients and I work for myself. I'm the best boss I've ever had. So I'm very, very excited to bring this information with you, for you, all of you guys here today. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain kind of 3 main areas in a LinkedIn 101 here. We're going to talk about what is LinkedIn. We're going to discuss why do you need a LinkedIn profile, and then also how do you get started. And those are the things I'm going to focus on as we are going through the session here today. Okay. I do want to remind everybody you'll be muted for the duration of the session. So if you have any questions, you can enter those at any point in time using chat. Okay. So what my goal is to move you from being that anonymous person in the background, you know, that person that is really, they're on LinkedIn, but they're not really utilizing it. They just stand around and watch. Some people will call themselves stalkers, you know, and I don't like that term because it sounds negative, like you're going through someone's trash. I like to say readers or researchers. You kind of are participating by watching, but you're not actively contributing to conversations. Maybe you're not sending invitations out. Maybe you're not participating in messages. So my goal is to get you from being that anonymous LinkedIn member in the background to being an active member on the platform. All right, so what is LinkedIn? Just a couple of things to get started here. And I really want to hear, you know, I want you to hear these findings because I think this is going to help you to understand what the network is really all about and how it's different and how it can be such a powerful platform. LinkedIn has been around since 2003. And right now they're up to 690 million members and counting. They're growing all the time. They're in every Fortune 500 firm. They're small companies, large companies, job seekers, working professionals, and they're in 200 countries across the globe. The individuals that you connect with on LinkedIn are called connections, whereas on Facebook we call them friends, right? And on Twitter and Instagram, we might call them followers, but on LinkedIn, they're really called connections. So when you connect with someone, they become a connection, okay? And it is not just for job seekers. And I wanna pause just to look at the graphic that's up on your screen. I actually met the woman who created this campaign. Her name is Tanya Katan, and she was tasked once upon a time working with a tech company to come up with some campaign that would make people think about things differently. And it was a big challenge. It was a big challenge. It was a big ask. And she had to think about, how do I do this? So one day, I don't know, she came up with this concept of the woman outside the women's restroom, you know, the woman in the sign. And she said, what if it's not a dress? What if it was actually a superhero cape? And it really was an interesting concept. And they created an outline just like you're seeing up on screen. And they created this website, itwasneveraDress.com. And it really caused you to think differently. Now I know when I'm out in public, whenever I see a ladies' restroom sign, I'm always thinking of that superhero cape. I'm not just thinking of the dress. So I want to teach you the same thing on LinkedIn. I want to teach you to think of LinkedIn differently. It is not just a job search platform. It's actually used more by working professionals than it is used by job seekers. So job search is just a small aspect of it, but there's many other facets of LinkedIn. And really, I want you to start thinking about LinkedIn almost like an online Rolodex, if you will, of business professionals. So it's like an online directory that is managed by us. So we know this information is up to date. It's fairly reliable as long as they're current, right? And people are inputting their own information. It's not pulling it from places. It's like LinkedIn is being built by the members themselves. So think about it as an online Rolodex. And even, you know, for that aspect, think about, do you have like a book of business cards or like a binder or a desk drawer or a shoebox? Like I've got a couple of those, right? So think about those business cards that you've been collecting from over the years. These people could be LinkedIn connections, and you can start to take those business cards and invite people to connect on LinkedIn and really build your network quickly, okay? So that's a little bit of background on what is LinkedIn. And now I want to talk about, you know, why do you need a LinkedIn profile? Why is it so important? And there's many reasons I think about why I would highly encourage individuals to have a LinkedIn profile. And I have to say, first and foremost, if you're in business, you have to have a LinkedIn profile. It's the way that the world is going. You know, we're now doing online networking. You don't have to have a Facebook page. You don't have to be on Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or, you know, what are the new ones now? I know there's some video websites out there too. TikTok, that's the new one. You don't have to be on any of those, but if you are working in business, I really do recommend that you have a LinkedIn profile. If you're in business, think about this. If people want to do business with you and you tell them the name of your company, what are they going to do? They're going to look up your website, right? Because they want to make sure, is this legitimate business? What are they all about? What does the website look like? Because that's going to give me a sense right away of quality. How professional are they? Do they have any reviews? All of those things are providing us with research that we can do. The same way on you as a working business professional or even a job seeker, you have to have a LinkedIn profile, because if you are in business, people expect that they are going to find you there, okay? And here's another reason. Why do you need a LinkedIn profile? Well, I would say claim your name so that someone else doesn't. What if I had not set up a Brenda Meller profile and somebody else created an account and they're posing as me, right? And this is especially important when you move up the hierarchy. And I oftentimes, when I'm working with executives, you know, those people that I refer to as experience rich, but maybe tech averse or social media apprehensive, right? And they don't have a LinkedIn profile because they're nervous about putting their information out there. But what I say is, gosh, the higher up you go, the more of a target you become for people to pose as you, right? So claim your name so that no one else can. Another reason is so that people can find you and it makes you real. I think about, if I want to do business with a person, I might Google them, or I might just go into LinkedIn and search for their name. If I can't find them, it's almost like a red flag for me. Like, why can't I find them? I know this happens all the time. I get a prospecting email. It sounds like it's a really interesting service. I might actually be interested in doing business with them, but it comes from a Gmail, and I'm like immediately skeptical and questioning, or it's an AOL or some hidden email. I look up their name on LinkedIn. If I cannot find them right away, I'm like, that's a scam email. I block and report it from my email provider. So make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile so that people can find you, because it does make you real. To demonstrate that you're current with social media, and again, going back to my earlier point, if you have never used LinkedIn before and you've always done things a certain way, especially when we're talking about business development or selling, right? And there's a certain way you sell as you're doing business. And nowadays, there's this whole concept of social selling. How do you sell through social media? How do you connect with your target audiences through platforms like LinkedIn? And you need a LinkedIn profile to demonstrate that you're current with social media. So if you're a salesperson trying to do business with people and you don't have a LinkedIn profile, forget it. People are going to be immediately skeptical of you. They're going to assume there's a reason you're not on LinkedIn, and they're going to make up that reason in their head. So why not have a LinkedIn profile to demonstrate that you are keeping up with the Joneses, right? Keeping up with technology, and that you are using this current platform for business purposes. And the final reason is Google search results. And if you guys have not done this, I highly recommend set a calendar reminder, like twice a year, do a Google search for your name, or do what I do. I actually have a Google alert set up for my name. I go to google.com/alerts and I just type in Brenda Meller with quotation marks, and it will send me notifications on any new web mentions of me. If you go onto Google right now and you type in your first name and last name, what are you seeing in search results? You know, if you have a LinkedIn profile and if you're active on LinkedIn, that's going to be very much at the top of the list. That is going to be one of the first options you see in the search results. So I would encourage you to have a LinkedIn profile so that you are coming up in the top of search results for that profile, and not your Facebook or your Pinterest or Instagram, like those other things. Really, your professional profile should come up at the top of those search results. So those are a couple reasons why you need a LinkedIn profile. And this is LinkedIn 101, guys. So I'm really pulling this way, 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 way back, right? And I want to focus next on how do you get started, okay? And there's a process you go through. It's fairly easy, and I think LinkedIn does a nice job of walking you through the on-screen prompts. So you simply go to linkedin.com and create a free account, okay? I recommend that you do not pay initially for LinkedIn, and maybe never pay for LinkedIn. Now remember, I do not work for LinkedIn. I don't work for Microsoft. I work for myself and I work for you, right? So I don't like to see people wasting money. When you first get into LinkedIn, you might notice they're trying to upgrade you. They might say, hey, do you want to upgrade to Job Seeker Premium or Business Premium? And you're like, ooh, Premium, that sounds good. That sounds like it's better. It's better than the basic version, right? No. Premium means you pay for more features, okay? Premium does not mean better. Premium means you pay for more features. So do not upgrade to Premium unless you are hitting roadblocks and you need to get access to some of those features. The average person does not need Premium. The average job seeker does not need Job Seeker Premium. Yes, there are some additional assets that it gives you, but initially, I don't like to see people wasting money. So I always say go with the free version and keep in that free version until you need access to those features and you understand the value of those features and what they give you. Okay, so go to linkedin.com, create your free account. And it's great, guys, because they walk you through process by process, step by step, on screen. Upload your photo, what's your headline, what's your current job, where did you go to school. If you have a copy of your resume handy, it's helpful just to kind of have it side by side, maybe even copying and pasting that information in there. I wouldn't duplicate everything from your resume in on your LinkedIn because your LinkedIn is a bit different than your resume, right? But it does help to have some of that information handy just for quick reference. And then you follow the on-screen prompts, you build your profile, and you may not get it 100% done the first time you sit down, but at least try to populate some basic information. At minimum, before you start posting or sending out invitations, here's what I would say. Make sure that you have your profile photo uploaded. It's a current professional looking headshot photo. Your face is about 50-60% of the circle. Make sure all of those items are covered there. And then make sure that you have a quick headline in there for yourself. It doesn't need to be job title at company. It can be just a descriptive headline of who you are and written to your ideal target audience. You want to have an about statement, a couple sentences about you written in the first person. And then if you can fill out some additional information, maybe your experience, education, just to make you look like a real person, right? Oftentimes we land on these accounts on LinkedIn, and if you ever notice, they look fake. Like they have lowercase in their job title, they don't have any experience, their education seems very questionable, and there's nothing else on their account. And when I get invitations from those folks, guys, I immediately report and block them because they look fake, and they probably are fake, right? So try to make sure you at least get a good amount of information in your profile. You can always come back and complete it later, but try to get it pretty well filled out if you can before you move on to the next step, which is posting on LinkedIn. And what is a post? Well, that's basically when you type something in and it broadcasts it out to people that are connected with you on LinkedIn. And you tell people, what are you working on? What are you reading? You know, things about your professional life, about your work life, inspirational quotes. There's a lot of information. What I would recommend is if you're not sure what to post on LinkedIn, just spend a little bit of time in the homepage feed, see what other people are posting. Eventually, you'll get the hang of like, what is a good post and what should you be posting on LinkedIn. After that, I would say start inviting people to connect with you and start accepting connections. What I like to do is that when I am inviting people to connect on LinkedIn, I will always personalize invitations. So let me show you how to do this right now. So when I go to, let me just see, Kimberly, are we connected yet? So I'm going to click on Kimberly's profile and see if we are connected yet. So when I look at her profile, I see the blue connect button. Now what I like to do is I like to include a note with every single invitation I send. And what I will do is if I don't know the person, I'm going to take a moment, scroll through their profile, and figure out one or two things that are interesting to me about that individual, or one or two things that we have in common. So I'm just going to take a minute and maybe, 30 seconds to a minute to look through this person's profile and then find that information. And here's what I like to do. When I click on connect, you're going to see it says the invitation's on the way, but you can add a note. Always, always, always add a note. So what I will do here is I'm going to make this a personal note. I don't use automated services. I do not believe in them. I strongly believe it's worth the time to take to send a personalized invitation. So in this case, I've met Kimberly, so to speak, on today's webinar. So I'm going to mention that. So nice to, and I'm going to do an air quotes here, nice to meet you on today's LinkedIn 101 webinar. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Brenda Meller. And I'm literally typing this in. I don't use automated services. I do not recommend any of those helper tools that are out there because they do violate LinkedIn's terms of service. If you use a service that sends out batch invitations, you can actually get yourself frozen up and thrown into LinkedIn jail, so to speak. So don't do that. Make a personalized note with every invitation. Now, in this case, I know Kimberly, she's on the webinar. If I didn't, what I would do is mention a few things that we have in common or that are interesting to me. So I might say, hi, Kimberly, we haven't met yet, but I see that we're both members of Motor City Connect, and you also work for Whirlpool. We have a Whirlpool washer and dryer, right? Something we have in common. Let's connect on LinkedIn, Brenda Meller. Okay, so those are the common elements I like to include in every invitation. And this is really going to be one of the keys for success for you on LinkedIn, is including that personalized invitation. And the other side of that is people will send you invitations, and then you need to decide whether those are invitations you want to accept, whether those people would be good connections for you or not. But I do want to encourage you to start inviting people to connect and then considering accepting those invitations as well. And the last step is to download the free app. LinkedIn has an app. You should have it, and go into your app store, download the app. About 60% of people visiting profiles nowadays are using the LinkedIn app to do so. So 2 reasons here. One is you can see what your profile looks like on the mobile version. Second is just super, super convenient. You know, we have 5 minutes when we're waiting in our car to go into the doctor's office, we can pull up LinkedIn and we can do a couple of invitations or tweak our profile. So just from a convenience standpoint, I would highly recommend. All right, guys, we're going to start to wrap here, and I want to give you a few final resources. If you do go to linkedin.com, you're going to notice there's a link on a couple links on the front page. Search a job, find a person you know, or there's learn a new skill. If you click on learn a new skill, it will take you to LinkedIn Learning, and you'll notice on this page it's actually something you can do for free right now. And they do give you the opportunity to start a free trial. I believe you have to put a credit card on file in order to get access to that free trial. But poke around and see if you're able to watch any courses in there. For a while, they were making these available to you for the first month for free. So check them out. What I would do is go into the search bar at the top in LinkedIn Learning and just type in how to create a LinkedIn profile. You're going to find videos in there, and these have been vetted by LinkedIn. So you can be sure that these are quality webinars to look at. This is a great way to learn how to use LinkedIn more effectively. You can also just go on Google and just type in how to create a LinkedIn profile. How do I post on LinkedIn? How do I invite people to connect? You're going to find videos, resources, blogs. This is what I do. And then I also would recommend you go onto YouTube and you could type in some search words as well. And you can find a lot of free resources that are out there. In addition, do keep in mind, if you are in career transition, you are unemployed right now, I do offer a free LinkedIn for Job Seekers webinar series. It's a 4-part webinar series. I cover 4 topics: optimizing your profile for job search, search invitation and messaging strategy for job seekers, finding a job on LinkedIn, the obvious, the hidden, and the resources, and then LinkedIn posting network engagement for job seekers. Those are free. If you go to mellermarketing.com/events presentations, you can learn more about those, and these are free for the unemployed. If you are working and you need some additional help, I have a couple of other resources for you as well. You're part of the Power 30 webinar series today on LinkedIn 101. I also have a Winning at Zoom 30-minute webinar, 6 tips on using LinkedIn for business development, and a session on setting your prices. If you go to my event page, you can also find that. I'm going to message that to you in chat in just a minute here. And then finally, if you do need personalized help, I do also offer individual LinkedIn coaching where we work one-on-one through Zoom. I give you a recorded playback. If you need help creating your profile, I can do that for you. I do a profile creation service, and I also do profile rewrite. So if you're already on LinkedIn, not sure if your profile's in the right place and don't want to bother with the work, I can do that for you. I also do help with company page strategy services, whether it's page creation, page analysis and strategy, or advertising. And yes, I do also offer team training on LinkedIn if you're looking for virtual training for your marketing department, for your sales team, for your executive team, or even for your board. Do keep in mind, those are all part of my services. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm just going to pop a couple of these links into the chat right now, and I'm going to show you one final thing before we end here today, and that is, how to download chat. So if you're looking at how to, maximize when you're in webinars like you're in today, what I do is if you go to the bottom of chat, you where it says to everyone, and there's 3 little dots off to the right-hand side. When you click on those three dots, there's actually a link that you can save the chat. And when you click on save chat, it will save it to your downloads folder. Okay, so when you do that, now you have the ability to go back after the session ends, click on any of the links that I gave you here today, or to be available to network with other participants. Okay, so yeah, definitely check out any of those links, and I think this can be very helpful and beneficial for you. Let me see if there's any questions that have come up in chat, and then we'll end our broadcast here for today. All right, thank you so much for joining today, guys. Looks like we're up to 8 people in the session here today. Kimberly, Ava, Dana, Google.com. I'm not sure what your question was, Ava, on there. So if you could clarify what you said, website, Google.com. Yeah, so for Google Alerts, I think is what you were referring to. So if you wanted to create a Google Alert for yourself, just to look up your name, what I do, just to look up your name, just go into Google.com and then just type in, like I'm gonna type in my name just to see what's coming up in searches. I'm just gonna type in Google.com and go to Brenda Meller and see what happens. And you can see LinkedIn is coming up at the top, followed by my website. So this is just a way to see how are people finding information about you. How do you improve your search results? How do you, I'm assuming you're referring here to Google. How do you improve your search results on Google? You need to be more active on social media and make sure that you have a variety of information that's out there, your website, your LinkedIn profile, you're posting regularly. How do you improve your search results on LinkedIn? Well, this is a 30-minute webinar. I'd be happy to help you with that. I do offer individual training. If you'd like to go to the mellermarketing.com/LinkedIn, I can talk to you a little bit more about those services that I have to offer you. I pay to get the training course. Excellent. So if you use LinkedIn Learning, there is a version that you can pay for. It can be very beneficial. Pay to find people. I was told to upgrade to see other people's resume. You can certainly upgrade, but you do get access to features. I just want to make sure you're using those features. One of the features I use is looking at everybody who's looked at my profile. Okay. Sometimes I find leads from that. So it's worth it for me, the $59.99 a month. If I get one new connection, one new client, I should say, that pays for itself. Why fake accounts? Ava, I have no idea. I wish I could give you the answer. Why do people hack? Why do things happen? I don't know. I have no idea why. I'm assuming there's some type of scam affiliated with fake accounts. I do not know. I've never followed them through. I always report and block them myself. The app does have less features. Good point. You get the best version of LinkedIn using the desktop. I appreciate you guys' feedback. Someone says, found your sessions great. Do leave me a comment before you leave here today. Was this session beneficial for you? Did you find value in this session? This is a quick 30-minute 101. I could certainly go 8 hours in LinkedIn 101, but I wanted to give you the highlights. Did you learn what you were expecting to learn here today? Misty Phillips, would you be able to chat later? I'd like to talk to you about teaching class. Misty, I would love to chat with you about that. If you could send me a quick email, I'm going to put my email in here for you guys, but I'll just send it to Misty right now. If you guys have any additional questions for me, you know, if you're interested in learning more about my services, do let me know. I'm going to put my email in chat. You should have gotten an email from me this morning as well, but definitely reach out to me, let me know. And one final question, Anna says, do I keep my profile private until completed? No. I would say there's two paths. There's building the profile, inviting and accepting connections. You're always going to be doing both. Even me, I'm always tweaking and modifying my profile. Minor tweaks, but I'm always tweaking and modifying it. So it's never done. It's never done, right? No, don't keep it private. I would say open it up as soon as you've got some basic information in there, and then you can start that snowball process going in there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining this morning. Again, this has been Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. You've joined us today for LinkedIn 101. And I will remind you guys that this session has been recorded. I saw someone just popped in right now. Maybe you got the time frame wrong on here. But I did record the session for today. So what I'm going to do is after we're done here today, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to pull this link down off of Zoom, and I will be posting it as a playback on YouTube as unlisted. And that way you can watch the playback. So check your email. You should get that email from me later on today with the playback. And then it'll also include the links if you'd like to learn more about my LinkedIn services or any of the other webinars I have coming up in the series. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for joining. This has been Brenda Meller with LinkedIn 101. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Do leave me a comment before you leave. Let me know if you found this session helpful. And I'm always open to suggestions for improvement. If there's anything you think I could add to future sessions for LinkedIn 101, do let me know that as well. Take care and have a safe and happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for joining.